Sports science basically deals with the science behind the sport. Say someone like Virat Kohli, you don't have to tell him or teach him how to bat. He's put in a lot of effort, he knows how to bat. Where the scientist comes into play is the scientist will understand that if the temperature has gone up and the humidity has gone up, that means the water requirement has gone up, electrolyte requirement has gone up. We were able to find out that her left leg is stronger than the right, but the right hand is stronger than the left. So
Okay.
when the weight was being picked up, first the body would subtly shift to the left when the legs were working more, causing her spine to rotate really hard with a lot of weight, and that caused swelling in her facetal joints, in the joints of her back. So I'll talk about say Mary Kom and Saina Nehwal, two of the athletes that I worked with. Mary, phenomenal, right? She's got an unbelievable fire in her, wants to perform, and the weight category at the Olympics was not her regular weight category, it was heavier. So she was going to fight against girls who were a lot bigger and stronger than her. The Saina, a couple of years later, when she moved from Hyderabad to Bangalore for the first time, we worked with her to again fine tune her game. Again, by that point, she was an Olympic medal winner. She was world number 9. But there were some lacunae which were creeping into her game. Somebody had told me that my physique is more suited for endurance swimming. Okay, I'm not the tallest person in the area. I mean, they say that if you hang or if you cycle or if you swim, you'll get taller. Complete nonsense. Then you are basically looking at a huge push for sports in India over the next 10 years. At 2036, India would be hoping for at least 5 gold medals.
Welcome and vanakkam. Today we are going to talk about sports science, and we are joined by a subject matter expert who has 2 decades of experience on this topic and also worked with various multiple athletes, helping them to reach podium level success at the level of Olympics. And he is still continuing his work on the area of sports scientist. So I'm really happy to welcome Mr. Nikhil. Welcome, Nikhil.
Hi.
Hi. So maybe let's go and get started. Nikhil, personally, I grown up from the background that instead of sports, learn 2 pages of science book. So that's how I have been brought up. Not really sports focused. Grown up from southern part of India. So I would like you to explain what sports science is about for the listeners.
So sports science basically deals with the science behind the sport. So for example, let's talk about cricket, because IPL is on and the entire country is crazy about IPL. So say someone like Virat Kohli, okay, you don't have to tell him or teach him how to bat. He's put in a lot of effort, he knows how to bat. Where the scientist comes into play is the scientist will understand that if the temperature has gone up and the humidity has gone up, that means the water requirement has gone up, electrolyte requirement has gone up. That's the sports nutritionist who does all of these things. Then you have the mental trainers or sports psychologists. So if Kohli has a problem with facing a certain bowler, or in certain situations feels that his focus is going off, then the sports psychologist will work with him, figure out ways in which all of this can be modified. The sports scientist will sort of look at different bowlers, their bowling action, to figure out patterns, their preferred way of bowling, so that when Kohli goes out to bat and he's facing a bowler, he has a good idea of what the bowler is going to try to do. So if someone of Kohli's caliber understands what is coming at him, he's going to be able to counter that quite easily.
Yeah,
So the
absolutely.
science and the fourth part is getting people strong and fit and avoiding injuries. So whether it is strength and conditioning, whether it is biomechanical analysis, whether it is exercise physiology, nutrition, psychology, all of this which doesn't directly work with form and technique or rules of the sport, but are adjuncts to it to help push the performance ahead, can come under the umbrella of sports science. Me personally, I deal with exercise physiology and biomechanics, so I'm looking at external stuff, which is how the body moves, how the foot lands when you're running, how the shoulder moves when you're throwing, how the back is working when you're lifting something, and the internal, where I do a lot of gas analysis to figure out how your body is utilizing fuel and producing power for whatever sport you want to do. So all of us sports scientists, we work behind the scenes. So we are not on field. You probably won't see us in the dugouts.
Yeah.
We are sitting back, and when the athletes are playing, we are sitting back and enjoying ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a lot of work that goes in the back end. Being an engineer, I'm more attracted towards this term biomechanics. So can you tell us more about that? How do you relate biomechanics to an athlete or a real world
I'll give you an
experience?
example. I'll give you an example of biomechanical analysis I did on a high performance athlete. We were working with a weightlifter, Indian weightlifter, and this is a few years ago. This is pre-COVID, so
Okay.
6-7 years ago. And she constantly was getting. So in weightlifting, there are two things you have to do. One is a snatch, where you pick the weight up directly over your head, and the second is clean and jerk, where you pick it up to your shoulders and then push it up. So in the clean and jerk portion, she had a world record, so she was very, very good at that. But in the snatch, once she went above a certain limit, her back would start hurting. Now she had been to the best physios, doctors, specialists, and none of them were able to sort this problem out, because it didn't look like a physical issue, that the bones were not correct or the muscles were not correct. It didn't look like that. So finally, I was approached, and we did a biomechanical analysis. So what we did was, we made her stand on a pressure plate, which basically records how the weight of the foot is going on the plate. And we saw that when she did the snatch, there was a bit of a weight shift. It was moving from left to right, right to left, something like that. Now, in order to figure it out better, we put motion sensors on her. So motion sensors have the same kind of sensors which are there in your smartphone. So your smartphone knows when it is being flipped, and people who play games on the smartphone knows how much you have tilted it, how much it is turning and twisting. So same kind of sensors are there in the motion analysis sensors. They go on your body, and we made her lift with that, and we spotted the results are basically lines on a paper, right? But
Yeah.
if you know what you're looking for, we were able to find out that her left leg is stronger than the right, but the right hand is stronger than the left. So
Okay.
when the weight was being picked up, first the body would subtly shift to the left when the legs were working more, and then subtly shift to the right when the right hand was working more. And this diagonal shift in weight was going through her spine, causing her spine to rotate really hard with a lot of weight, and that caused swelling in her facetal joints, in the joints of her back. And that was the reason she was getting back pain. Now the movement is too quick to even notice by cameras. So this is where high-end testing and really precise equipment comes into play. But with that, we were able to identify what was the cause of pain. And of course, the answer is, strengthen the opposite side and things should normalize. And then COVID hit.
Okay.
So wasn't able to put things into practice as well as it could have been. And but to her credit, she did win a medal at the Tokyo Olympics. So fabulous stuff.
Yeah, so this is amazing actually. So as I said, being an engineer, I worked with sensors on the steels and things like that. But this is really amazing to hear, or that putting sensors on the body, and it really, as you said, knowing the problem exactly is what it really matters. That's really amazing. Okay, so on sports science, I think maybe my understanding is it is different between working with team sports and different working with athletes, for individual athletes. So can you tell us more about that?
It's not that different. I mean, if you're working with individual athletes, then these are individual sports, and you're hyper focused on one person and their performance. When you're working with teams, you're still using the same tools, and even in a team, there are individual positions. For
Okay.
example, in cricket, there's a bowler, there's a batsman, there's a wicket keeper. So when you're analyzing and looking at stuff, you're analyzing based on their specialization. So in my post graduation, when I was doing my post grad in London, I got the chance to be part of the team that was testing the West Ham United team, which is a EPL team, and pretty good. I mean, they were a mid-tier team when I was this is like 17, 18 years ago. And the build, the way the body structure is, the abilities that each of them had was very specific to their playing position. So what the strikers were able to do, the defenders were better at something else, the midfielders were better at something else. So although all of them were being paid millions of pounds to be fit, they were all super fit, but they still had their niche. Someone is better at something, someone is better at something, and that sort of allows them to be successful at a certain position and not at a certain other position. So the tools that we use are the same, the analysis we do is the same, and our main job is to make sure that whatever advice we give or whatever analysis we do is specific to that athlete, their playing position, their role in the team, and what is necessary to be achieved. Now, what is necessary to be achieved is something that the coach decides. So coach is
Okay.
by far the most important person on field, and our job as sports scientists is to enable the coach to do their job better. If you
Good.
don't mind, I would like to give a quick example on that.
Yeah, sure.
Say for example, a few years back, a badminton coach came to me with his student, an 18-year-old girl from Nasik, and the coach basically had a doubt that when she's playing, when the rally gets a little longer, she looks tired, she slows down, and she loses the point. But when he goes to talk to her, she's not even breathless. She's like, what's happening? I mean, if she's tired, she should be breathing hard. Why isn't she breathing hard? So in her case, we didn't do a biomechanical analysis. We did an exercise physiology one, where I made her run on the treadmill till she dropped, and I was measuring the oxygen being consumed by the body and carbon dioxide being produced. And I found that her system, which works at lower intensity, which is your aerobic system, which is what you and I are using right now. We are peacefully seated, we are not jumping up and down.
Yeah.
That system was phenomenal. It was very, very good, very highly trained. But when the shuttle is in the air and you have to move quickly on court, your second system comes into play, which is called as the anaerobic system. And that system wasn't as well trained. So when the rally went longer, the anaerobic system wasn't able to generate the power output required, and it would get tired. But between points, between games, her aerobic system was so good, so refined, so trained that she was able to recover her breath back very, very quickly.
Okay.
So that directly gives us a guideline that the coach needs to work on the anaerobic system and her performance should go up. So yeah, so the coach basically comes to you with a question and you have to answer it as a sports scientist.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So, at least I was not so aware that science can really help in building a sportsman. So that's really good to know. Yeah. So, and it's good that you pointed out coach and sports scientist. Is sports medicine and sports science is how different is it, or how similar is it, or is it the same?
It's different. It's different because if you look at sports medicine, there is the surgical side and there's the medicine side. For the medicine side, the team doctor basically is someone who's done their MBBS, and after doing MBBS, they have specialized in sports medicine, In India, you can get a diploma in sports medicine from National Institute of Sport. You could also go abroad and specialize. And these guys are extremely crucial because they are there to take care of the athletes when they're traveling, when they're competing, to make sure they're healthy, to make sure whatever their supplementation is there, medication is there, is appropriate as per World Anti-Doping Agency rules. So all of that, whether it is the paperwork to get therapeutic use exemptions for people who have asthma and need steroids, for athletes when they are traveling to carry some medication abroad, because some medicines are over the counter in India which are not over the counter abroad, so you
Yeah.
need to have a prescription and stuff uh, to ensure that if the athlete gets sick abroad, they are able to coordinate with the medical facilities there. So all of those, whether it is anti-doping, taking care of the health, taking care of the tests, coordinating with the medical teams there, ensuring everything is compliant with WADA rules, World Anti-Doping Agency rules. That is the job of a sports medicine doctor. So he is basically there to ensure medical health of the athletes.
Okay.
So that you can say a healthy athlete will perform better. So they are very important for performance, but very different scope of work compared to a sports scientist, where we are focused more on fine tuning the athlete so that we can get better performance out of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Thanks for explaining that. And maybe we can switch gears and talk about your own personal journey. As I said, you started maybe very early in this subject matter, sports science. Can you tell us more about how you get started? Was it all planned? Can you talk
Yeah.
through your personal
So
journey?
I've actually been very lucky to be where I am. So I count my blessings and thank the Lord every day for allowing me to be where I am. But the way it started is I used to be a swimmer. I started with short distance swimming, 50 meters, 100 meters, and by a quirk of fate, I ended up doing long distance. And when I started doing endurance swimming, open water, in the sea, in the lakes, in the rivers, my performance went up very quickly.
Okay.
So I thought that if somebody had told me that my physique is more suited for endurance swimming, okay, I'm not the tallest person in the area. I mean, they say that if you hang or if you cycle or if you swim, you'll get taller. Complete nonsense. Okay, I used to swim 4.5 hours a day. I'm not even 5'5", so that's a rubbish thing to say. But anyways, okay, your height is written in your genes 9 months before you're born.
Yeah.
The point is, if somebody had told me that you're built for endurance swimming, maybe I could have done more. At that point, open water swimming was not part of the Olympics. The first Olympics that had open water swimming was 2008 in Beijing, where the 10-kilometer race was first started. But I looked around. I tried to find out, who is this person who tells athletes what sport they are good at or they should play. And it turns out that it's the job of a sports scientist. Now, at the turn of the century, that wasn't a career option in India. So there was no such thing as sports science in India. The closest thing that came to it was physiotherapy. So after doing my 10 to 12th, I gave the pre-medical, I did my physiotherapy, and then I went abroad for my master's in sports science. And after I came back, I got recruited to work in a pulmonary rehab center of all the places, right? Because
Yeah.
the chest physician was like, you're a physiotherapist and a sports scientist, you can design exercise plans and you can take care of my patients, why don't you join me, let's start this together. So it was one of a kind, first of its kind pulmonary rehab center in Mumbai. And but I was a sports scientist, I wanted to be in sports, so I told the chest physician, allow me to work in sports as well. And she said, yeah, no problem, we'll give you some resources. So I roped in a colleague of mine who had recently come back from Australia. He's done his sports physiotherapy, and I was the sports scientist. And we started getting in touch with athletes to help them improve their performance. And that's when we got in touch with a organization called Olympic Gold Quest. Olympic Gold Quest was started by Geet Sethi and Prakash Padukone, two legends in Indian sport, in cue sports and badminton. Yes, Deepika Padukone's father, but he was the first Indian to turn professional in badminton, become world number one, and become an All England champion.
Yeah,
He was the best badminton player of his time.
absolutely.
Yeah, so they started Olympic Gold Quest to help Indian athletes, and it's in the title, right? The quest for an Olympic gold.
Yeah.
So OGQ athletes started coming to our rudimentary setup for testing, and when the time came to move on, I joined OGQ as head of sports science and rehab, and I was with OGQ for 7 years, and I got the opportunity to go to a couple of Olympics, train some of our superstars, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so tell us more about working with the heroes of India and letting them see the podium success. How was it feeling when athletes who were working very closely hitting the podium? I think you were very.
Um, a mix actually. So I'll talk about say Mary Kom and Saina Nehwal, two of the athletes that I worked with. Uh, Mary, phenomenal, right? She's got a unbelievable fire in her, wants to perform, because by the time London Olympics came around, she was already a five-time world champion, right? She
Yeah,
she was accomplished in her sport, and the
absolutely.
weight category at the Olympics was not her regular weight category, it was heavier. So she was going to fight against girls who were a lot bigger and stronger than her, and we had to work for almost a year, right? Just
Yeah.
fine tuning to so that she's able to get 10 centimeters closer to her opponents, because if the opponents are taller and they have longer hands, they are able to keep Mary away. But if Mary is faster and stronger, then she is able to get close, hit, come back before getting hit back. So to improve her technique, improve her speed, it took us almost a year. So we started working in 2011, and in 2012 we were at the Olympics,
Yeah.
and we were so ready at the Olympics that it was basically between Mary and Nicola for the gold. Okay, if they had met in the first round, Mary would have beaten her, but they met in the semi-finals, and unfortunately, one day before her semi-finals, she hit her cycles. She wasn't 100% in the semi-finals, and she lost fair and square. So we ended up with a also ran medal. I mean, you win gold, you lose a gold to you get a silver, and bronze is an also ran medal. We got an also ran medal, but everything that Mary put herself through to go up the weight category, improve her strength, improve her technique, stay away from her kids, stay away from her family, to put in that kind of a performance, it was unbelievable.
Yes, he is an
Unbelievable.
absolute inspiration of
Like in the first
our
match,
times. Yeah.
first fight she had at the Olympics was on 5th of August 2012, and 5th of August is her twins' birthday.
Okay.
And the twins were calling her saying that, are you in Delhi? Are you coming back for her birthday? And she was able to put all of that aside, enter the ring, and win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but because we had gone in expecting gold, and we ended up with an also ran medal. Yeah, it was very sad. I mean, yes, only after we came back we were like, oh yeah, we won a medal. But when we were in London, we were extremely disappointed that we came here for gold and we have ended up with a bronze.
oh,
And that was a testament to the amount of effort she put in and the coach put in. That despite winning a medal, we were disappointed a bit. On the other hand, with Saina, a couple of years later, when she moved from Hyderabad to Bangalore for the first time, we worked with her to again fine tune her game. Again, by that point, she was an Olympic medal winner. She was world number 9, but there
yeah.
were some lacunae which were creeping into her game. So we put her through the whole process of everything from getting her blood tested to strength and conditioning to nutrition to all of those things. And we were able to identify a few missing points, work on them. 6 months after we started with her, and we were able to fill up the lacunae in her training and in her performance, she was able to go from world number 9 to world number 1, and that was quite thrilling. That was when she won the India Open Super Series and was confirmed to be world number 1. That was
Yeah.
special because she achieved that milestone in India, in Delhi, won the tournament. So it was quite thrilling.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. All these superstars were really good inspiration. All right, so that's good, and I think now you are doing independent work with various athletes, right? So that's really good. Keep continuing your work, so we get more podium success for India. Thank, I wish you all the good luck in that.
Thank you.
And with all these things that are moving in towards sports, and the sports industry in India is also growing rapidly. I think it's expected to grow 4 times in 4 5 years now. So with all that going, how do you see for someone who's young getting into an career as a sports science? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, huge, huge, huge. Because India is also looking to bid for the 2036 Olympics in Ahmedabad. Now, if that bid goes through, then you are basically looking at a huge, huge push for sports in India over the next 10 years. Because at 2036, India would be hoping for at least 5 gold medals. If you're
Absolutely.
host, if you're the host country, I mean, so far we've won 1 gold in 2008,
Yeah.
and we got 1 gold in 2020, individual gold,
Yeah.
and otherwise we haven't really won gold medals. So India will be hoping for at least 5 golds. But if you are targeting 5 golds, you're going to get an equal number of silvers and bronze and all of those things. So our medal tally is going to shoot up, and that's not happening without proper sports science.
Absolutely.
So anyone who's in their 9th, 10th, 11th at the moment, good time for you to get into this career, because next 10 years, if our bid goes through, are going to be very, very, the entire sports science landscape is just going to shoot up.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of good courses and universities offering good courses as well in the field of sports
There
science,
are a
isn't it?
few. There are a few.
Yeah. All right. So with that background, there are also people kind of how sports science is impacting day-to-day life, for instance, right? So there are a lot of awareness on marathon runners or everyday badminton tournaments, and there are a lot of local leagues like district level leagues, state level leagues. So everything is coming up on especially on marathon runners. So what are your thoughts and inputs on untrained marathon running for just for awareness?
Very, very important, because a lot of marathon runners make the mistake of carrying their competitive spirit from work into hobby. And so they end up overloading themselves and pushing themselves too hard. So, whether it is nutrition, whether it is strength and conditioning, whether it is biomechanics for running form, shoes, insoles, whether it is exercise physiology to know what your limits are, how hard can you push yourself without causing damage, so you stay in your safe zone. All of these things are extremely important for marathon runners, and happy to say that a lot of urban marathon crowd, at least the well off, are keeping in mind all of these things. They are seeing nutritionists, they are undergoing strength and conditioning, they are training with a proper coach. So all of those things are happening.
Okay.
And as always, elite sports is a very small pinch of the total athletic crowd in a country. So again, the scope for sports science is massive over the next 10 years.
Yeah, if I want to, for example, if I want to run into a marathon, if without, let's say, proper coach or training, what are all the 5 things that you would advise for anybody who wants to jump into a marathon?
You can only go train as hard as you can recover. Like in a car, they say you can only drive as fast as you can brake.
Absolutely.
right? So you can only train as hard as you can recover.
Okay.
So there are 4 basic things that are required for your body to repair itself overnight or between 2 training sessions, and those need to be followed. So number 1 is make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Your pee color has to be on the lighter side. Make sure you're getting at least 7 hours of sleep, if not more. Make sure your protein intake is at least as much as your body weight, if not more. So if you're 60 kilos, you're getting 60 grams of protein per day, and your vitamin D levels are normal. Those are the 4 basic things that your body needs to do. And after that, today the AI apps are smart enough to design a training plan for you, but you have to listen to your body. So if you had hectic days at work, just because the AI designed program tells you to run 15 kilometers tomorrow, but you're feeling completely knackered, don't. Just tell the AI, I felt too knackered, I couldn't do 15. AI will change the plan and give you a better one.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
is for someone who doesn't want to train with a coach. So those are the 2 simple things you can do. You can trust AI a little bit, not too much, and always say please and thank you. You don't want them to turn against you, and and follow the basics: eat well, sleep well, drink enough water, get enough sun.
Okay.
So as long as you do these 2 things, it's good. But if you're serious about running, then rather than just winging it with a few basics and AI, you should look at training under a coach, because the coach will also help you with proper warm-ups, proper cool-downs, strength and conditioning, will give you dietary advice, will have a look at your form and technique when you're running. If you look tired, you don't have to wait and tell the AI. The coach can spot it, and even before you feel knackered, they will reduce the load on your body so that you are able to recover on time. So having a coach there makes a big difference.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I think thanks for those inputs. I hope it helps some listeners who wants to jump into a marathon as an hobby. Thank you. For somebody who wants to be physically fit, for example, uh, for for somebody who don't want to go to gym regularly, but somebody who wants to be fit, as a sports scientist, what are all the few things that you would
So
advise?
fitness is a relative term. Okay. I mean, if you mean by fitness that you are maintaining weight, you need to see a nutritionist. If by fitness you mean that you should have enough energy at the end of your normal day, so that if an emergency comes, you're still fresh enough to handle it, then yeah, you can get into running or staircase climbing, or a combination of staircase climbing, running and yoga, to make sure that your energy levels are good, flexibility is good, mobility is good, strength is good, and you still have the cardio capacity. Your heart and lungs are strong enough to keep going even at the end of a normal day. So depending on your definition of fitness, you'll need to figure out what to do.
Okay, let's say, for example, somebody who works 9 to 6, and he doesn't want to go to gym, and how much time, maybe 20 minutes of running, or
I think they should be putting in 45 to 50 minutes 5 times a week. And those 45 to 50 minutes can be a combination of body weight training, where you are doing staircase climbing, squats, calf raises, push-ups, etc. Combination of yoga, so that your flexibility, control and all of that is maintained, and cycling or running, so that your heart and lungs get strong.
okay, that's interesting. Yeah. And let's talk about something what you have, I think, recently written about in an article as well, for the sports science to find good athletes in India. You wanted a systematic approach. Can you tell us more about that?
So, having worked with all these athletes, I know that they are absolutely brilliant, right?
Yeah.
But in India, if you look at the academic sphere, people who are not IQ wise brilliant, but have other talents are still able to perform really well and are able to move ahead in life, no problem, right?
Absolutely.
Why
Yeah.
is that? The reason for that is regular assessment. So, what their qualities are highlighted very early in life. Like somebody is better at drawing, somebody is better at singing, somebody is better at sports, somebody is better at math, somebody is better at commerce, somebody is better, is just a better artist.
Absolutely.
Someone has a very high emotional quotient, somebody has a higher intellectual quotient. So, all of that is basically because of constant testing. If you are tested at every single step, because you're tested constantly, uh, you have your physical examinations, you have your unit tests, your semesters, your quizzes, your class exams, your elocution competitions, your debate competitions. Because you look at the child from multiple angles, you are able to understand what their points are, what they are good at, what they are not so good at, what grabs their interest, what doesn't grab their interest. And then you end up with people who are academically very, very successful, right? In sports, I know for a fact this assessment does not happen.
Yeah,
Even at the
absolutely.
highest
Yes.
level,
Yeah.
the testing does not happen. Like the weightlifter example I gave you, she'd been suffering with back pain for years before somebody thought that, okay, let's get a proper sports science assessment done.
Yeah.
So if this regular assessment becomes part of it, you'll be able to identify athletes early. The athletes might also get some interest in doing that. And worst case scenario, let's say the athlete, you don't see athletic potential, and the parents and the athlete are not interested in pursuing sport. At least a regular physical assessment will mean that they stay fit, and you make long term athlete development. So basically you're making
Absolutely.
them athletes for life, making them more conscious about their food choices, making them more conscious about the need for proper fitness and strength training, etc. So that when you're in your 30s and 40s, you suddenly don't realize that, oh, I need to get fit, because you've always had a kernel of fitness and a knowledge about what you eat with you since your childhood. So that's the lowest scenario, where at least you're producing athletes for life. And the best case scenario is you're able to really figure out who's going to be good at what, and
Yeah.
sort of keep a tab on it. Because if I test someone at age 12 and then I don't test them till age 15, I don't know if the 3 years they have progressed or not. And if they have
Yeah.
progressed, what has progressed? Has their strength got better, endurance got better, their sporting skills have got better, or are they coasting purely on talent without focusing on any of the physical attributes? Because if they're coasting on talent, that's going to hit a wall pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like checking your car or a bike, if on a regular basis, and make sure that you take corrective actions on that. So I think that makes sense. It's like identifying somebody's interest very early, and then make sure that we nurture that talent. That's an good thought, and I hope we as a society change our thought process and make sure that we identify interest in sports as well as we do in academics. Yeah, that's a good thought. So, and I think that is much needed, because we have produced a lot of academics talents, and it's time we need to produce sports talents as well. So
Yeah.
let's switch gears and then talk about something on para sports. Like in my personal experience as well, with challenges in vision, for instance, I have not exposed not too much on para sports available in India. So can you help us understand how the para sports is coming along with the sports?
Very well, actually. We won 25 medals at the Paralympics in Paris. last year
Absolutely, yeah,
in
yes, and
2024.
our
Sorry, not
tally
last
on Olympics, sorry, Paralympics is more than
year.
Olympics, yeah,
Way more,
in
way
recent
more.
Olympics, yeah.
Olympics we got I think 7 medals. Paralympics we got 25. So
Yeah.
very well. And again, the training, the physio, the coaching, the strength and conditioning, the sports science is has to be properly focused onto that individual sport and ensuring that their body is capable of playing their sport. That's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So for somebody with an vision impairment, for instance, right, what are all the different sports that somebody can play? It's like, is there any set of sports that works for a certain impairment? Can you give a brief on
Yeah,
different
I
areas
mean,
that are possible? The reason why I'm asking that question
yeah.
is maybe the exposure and awareness might be missing. I wish I'm wrong, but it might be helpful to listeners on what are all the different areas of para sports linked with the
So,
different
so
impairments.
for someone say who's visually impaired,
Mm.
um, most of the sports are still accessible. You have blind cricket World Cups, you have blind people running full marathons and turning in phenomenal performances. So, whether it is running in a straight line, being part of a team, all of those sports are completely open. You have people who are swimmers, blind swimmers, and so in sports where it's necessary to have someone guide you, there are usually guides available. Like for example, in running, you have a sighted person who runs with you. Your hands are tied with that person. But in blind cricket and all, not really. You have the ball that makes the noise, so they are able to figure it out what's happening, what's not. So all of those things are there. So I don't think there's a limit to it. You can perform, you can train, you can take part. Yes. Now the Olympics doesn't involve all kinds of issues, all kinds of people in every sport, because the number of medals and the number of events are limited. So if your aim is to represent the country at the Olympics, then you need to see which sports, which teams are allowed. Like for example, blind cricket is not part of Paralympic Games.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you need to see which sports are in the Paralympic Games, and if you're okay to that. Again, the main problem in India with Paralympics is availability of coaches. There are athletes, there are supportive measures available, but coaching, like I said, coach is the most important person on field, and coaching in Paralympics or para sports is still a gap we need to fill up.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a long way to go when it comes to identifying and inclusivity in sports as well. And most importantly, I think awareness and acceptance is more important. We are getting there, and our medal tally is one sign that we are getting there. All right, and I think we are coming to the end of the discussion. Nikhil, one last question before I let you go. This is the tradition on the podcast. With all your experience and journey, what you have gone through, if I ask you, what is the one thing that you are thinking has changed? Like, what is one thing that you are saying differently, which was not the case before?
I guess it's not just me. I guess it's everyone that as you get older and you get life experiences, you mellow down a bit and you get a wider perspective. Because let's say 15 years ago, I would be like, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to get it done. And now I'm like, it will happen. You just have to take one step at a time and keep going. So that urgency, I wouldn't say the urgency is gone, but it's come with an understanding that it's a long road, and just pushing myself too hard right now is not going to help me reach the goal. That temperament has sort of mellowed down. That understanding that all of these things take time to change, and building an athlete takes time, building a
Yeah.
rapport with an athlete takes time. So you get a better understanding that unless you put in the time, you're not going to get the results. So I guess that is one thing that I have learned.
Absolutely, yeah. So everything takes time. It's a journey, not instant. So thank you so much. Thanks, Nikhil.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time
Thank you.
and have a great day. Bye-bye.